Thank you very much for coming. It's a great thing to have the first orchestra rehearsal. I'm sure I will hear nothing but dulcet tones and accurate runs. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Bradley Williams. This is the 6th video in a series of behind-the-scenes videos that we're doing for Greenville Family Theater. As you can see behind us, we've got the orchestra. This is their first rehearsal, I think. It's great. This is honestly my favorite part. This is Randy Dahl, who is the conductor of the orchestra. All these instruments you see behind us.
This is filled with people who just love music.
So where do you actually find all the musicians for?
At first it was difficult. 3 years ago when we started, I was calling and begging people because they were imagining this was going to be a little podunk thing. They didn't want to waste their time with.
Right.
Most of these musicians that I now have came because they came to one of the shows.
Okay.
And they said, yeah, I want in on that.
That's awesome.
And so every year the level of our musicians has been going up. Take a breath, 49. Margaret, come up here. Show us how this is supposed to go. The dance. A live orchestra actually becomes a part of the cast. They are contributing to what's going on stage in a supporting role, but they add personality to the production. And the audience is as interested sometimes in what's happening in the pit as they are as what's happening on the stage. The difficulty, of course, is coordination. There has to be two-way coordination between the stage and the pit, particularly the conductor and the stage when you have a live orchestra. But that gives it some of the imperfection that makes it human. Music touches every human emotion. It touches the energy in every part of our soul. And when it's done right, and when it's done with variety and contrast, and especially when it's accompanied by live characters on stage that you can identify with, it just draws out the best in us, I think.
Jeremy, why don't you tell us a little bit about rehearsals?
Rehearsals have been a process. I think we've been at this now for 2 months, just about
like that.
Something like that, yeah. And we've done a lot of piece working. So we've done a lot of dancing at one, vocals at another, some of the blocking, some of the fight choreography, and now we're starting to put all the pieces together.
Right. And so what did we do today specifically?
Well, specifically today, started at the beginning of Act 1, started running scenes, and then since we're double cast, once we ran a scene, have to go back over it again with the opposite cast. So it's a bit of a process, but I think everybody's going to enjoy the end result, especially since we're doing 6 shows, and so that's 3 per cast.
So what are the most difficult challenges involving this particular show of Singin?
Well, one of the challenges is it's such a dance-heavy show, and so there's a lot of front-end work that they've had to do getting the dancing in. And we were thankful enough to have a really good choreographer that stepped in to work with the cast, and she's been putting them through the paces. One of the other challenges, I think, is probably the fact that we have to make it rain on stage.
Hi all, I'm David Palmer. I'm playing Don Lockwood in GFT's upcoming musical of Singing in the Rain. This is Noah Palmer.
To put on this show, we are going to need all of these different items, and we have to know what we have and what we don't have, and start using them, get used to them. We're going to have to start getting everybody in costumes. It just takes a lot to put on a show like this.
So today we are doing headshots. Every cast member gets their own headshot that goes on the marquee performances, and it'll have their name underneath it so you can look them up on the playbill and know who each one is. And I try to get all the angles, make sure I get just the perfect shot of each one. And we have a very photogenic cast.
live audience, they can get wrapped up and drawn into the story, and they feel when the characters feel. You can do that a little bit with a movie, a little bit with a TV show, but everything's recorded and it's canned, and you get the same reaction every time. Our show, you come see it, especially with two casts, you get different experiences each time, and you're drawn into it, and you get to live the life that they're living.
The thing I always think about is that we learn as the show goes on. Each show, we're learning something else about ourselves, about each other, and about the way the audience perceives what we're putting out there. It's going to be a good show. It's going to be a good show.
Yeah, it's going to become, it is worth the time and the money. All right, applause for our performers. Thank you. We're glad you were here. It's good that you were here. This has helped us a lot.